over there, TD over there. And they respect them and they go over there. But, no offense to those guys over there. They're not on 40 stations. They're not syndicated in 4 countries, in every major market. So when I see them, going over there, and they're they just think highly of them, and the guys over at TD, hey, you guys are great. We appreciate you being on the radio, probably one of the longest running internet stations from this area. Got a lot of great guys over there. But it's like the bands don't even, they don't even think, when you're, and it's not like I didn't contact them. I was like, hey guys, you're nominated for this award and that award and that award. All you got to do is get people to vote for you. And everybody was snoozing, Detroit. This is why nobody comes out of Detroit, because we don't support each other in that manner. And when you have an opportunity to market your group outside of Detroit, outside of the local area, it was like crickets. So whatever. We're dumping a few of the categories for next year. We were thinking about that. We're like, hey, a few of these categories are probably less relevant than needed to be on here. We didn't need to actually have them. But it was like I told you, the music awards were done on the fly. And because of that, we came up with categories. We didn't have sponsors. There was no budget. This wasn't planned for the whole year. We just said, you know what? We're going to do it because these bands need recognition. Somebody's got to promote these bands. Somebody's got to get behind them. That being said, I guess we're up against our first break, ladies and gentlemen. Zoom, zippity, boo, bye, yay. We're breaking it right now. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the tax plan in the second segment. Keep it a little short there. Not go too long into that one. Then we're going to really get into the Pentagon, the UFO files, all this latest information coming out anyways, about the UFO phenomenon and what it might be. In the fourth segment, we're going to talk about, random things, get your input, who knows. John LeBanc Show will be right back after this.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Listening there. Don't go anywhere. The John LeBanc Show is going to be right back. Just ask the hillbilly.
That's right. Right after this.
What about me? Maybe next time.
CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Their billers and managers are all dedicated to working for you to increase your profits. For more information, call CRRM at 248-579-3805. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services.
Okay, that should do it.
Oh my!
Oh, hello, Idor.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm putting together the finishing touches on my new creation.
Why does it have boobs?
Oh, because it's going to be the Idor 2000.
Why are you replacing me?
Oh, I'm not replacing you, Idor. I just thought you could use some help.
I'm not into the group thing.
Oh, it's not a big deal. The Idor 2000 just has some minor upgrades.
Oh my god, all you men are alike.
Idor, you better calm down. You're going to overload your emotion chip.
What's that supposed to mean?
Here, come here.
Don't touch me.
Hey, where are you going?
I'm leaving. I'm going to find some chocolate and cry my eyes out.
Idor.
Leave me alone.
I never should have put that emotion chip in her.
You're listening to the John LeBanc Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good Thai stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that first segment. Kind of knocking off the rust a little bit from the long break we had there. We had the big giant tax plan came out. Let me get my glasses on for this. I might have to. We'll see how it goes. I'll leave them off for the moment. It's going to be a lot of reading in this one because it was actually hard to understand everything that went on with this tax plan. It is difficult to see if this is going to work the way we were promised in the campaign. In fact, I don't actually think It is what was promised in the campaign. But we're used to that, aren't we, ladies and gentlemen? We're used to politicians not being able to come through. And when you had the entire GOP saying they would get rid of Obamacare, and when they had the opportunity, they couldn't do it. Same with Mr. Trump there. Not bashing him, but that was one of his campaign things. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. Get rid of Obamacare. It's bad. It's bad. Huge debt. Remember that? Well, we didn't get rid of it. But the tax bill that the GOP put out apparently slashes rates for the super wealthy. It nixes the Obamacare penalty, so at least they went the backdoor way to take care of the mandate. It expanded child tax credits, which is something I'm not for, dramatically lowering corporate taxes and opening up new Alaskan oil drilling. Now, our lawmakers released the full text of this sucker, and the Republican leadership is just happy about it. And it's law now. It says the income tax drops from 37% from 39.6% for us little people. So our top taxpayers of us citizens of the United States get a 2.6% reduction in our taxes. You know, for a lot of us, it's going to be like, over the whole year, maybe $600-700, maybe $1,000, maybe a couple thousand. You know, big deal, right? Corporate taxes were slashed to 21% from 35%. So the corporations get a 14% reduction, which is going to be millions, if not trillions of dollars they're saving in taxes. The idea there is that they're going to turn that around and hire people or invest it. That's the idea. Very much the trickle-down effect that was proposed during the Reagan administration. Estates worth up to $11.2 million are now shielded from federal taxes. Anything above are not shielded. Estate taxes, that's, death and all that stuff. Why the government needs to take more after you die, I still can't understand that. That should be slashed to zero for everybody. There is no logical reason why the government needs any of that money. Not one instance. Not one little grain is that their money. We should know it to them. State and local tax deductions are capped at $10,000 as in the House bill. Okay. Guess that's good. You're capped there. New York and California lawmakers are angry because elimination of SALT, SALT. It eliminates it, which means their little tax breaks the extra little tax breaks that they got are now gone. Some people are even taking the government to court over that, whatever. I mean, it's seriously crazy. Just seriously crazy how things work in different governments and all the governments in the United States. Now they're saying it's going to cost $1.5 trillion over 10 years. $1.5 trillion. I doubt that. It costs us taxpayers $3.5 trillion each and every year. I don't know how they think it's only going to cost $1.5 trillion over 10. Hey, that's government math at work again. Government math. Manipulating the numbers to make it look like it's only going to cost that much. It's going to add to the debt that much. I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know how that's going to work out. I think it's a bunch of malarkey, garbage, trash that they're feeding us, like always. Now they're doubling the tax credit and increasing the standard deductions. Well, let me tell you this, folks. I am completely against any tax credit for children. We already, as the American taxpayer, pay about $9,000 to $12,000 for each student in public school. That already is a tax credit to those families. They're getting that much of a break for not having to pay for their child in school. They do not need an additional tax credit because they just have children. You know what? If they couldn't afford to have those children, they shouldn't have had those children. It's about time that the government make the responsibility of the parent, which is paying for the child's entire schooling, everything, until they become of age to leave the home and go out on their own. It's about time we, as the American taxpayer, are given that break and not taking on the burden of having to pay for the education of somebody's child on top of giving them credits for having those children. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people out there who are getting these additional tax credits because you had children are going to be against me, are going to be yelling at the radio right now. That's fine. But it's not fair to somebody who never had a child, who never put a child into the system to cost the system any money, to have to pay for your child while you get credit for having them, while you get money back just for putting them into the system. That's ridiculous. If you can't pay for your child's education, and if you can't pay for your child's welfare and all that other stuff, you shouldn't be having children. It's about time we have a little bit of responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. Now again, the White House says it simplifies everything. And they brought out, I think it was Trump who had the little postcard, and you could fill out your taxes on the postcard. Are you going to want to do that? I'm just saying. Are you really going to want to fill out your tax, your tax form on a postcard? If we really wanted to simplify the entire tax code, if we really wanted to do that, we would eliminate the Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve Act, and the income tax, and then go back to printing our own money backed by gold and silver, not backed by the American military, not backed by the labor force of America and the taxes they produce, but actually go back to producing our own money through gold and silver, and charging the banks the interest for loaning the money off of us as the American taxpayer, as the government, which the government is supposed to be the Constitution, not these schmendricks that run the government and that we leave in office for 20, 30, 40 years because we're too scared to get rid of them, or we don't know what the other guy's going to be. Maybe we just like their name. Did you miss me, ladies and gentlemen? Did you miss the ranting of the banger? Some of you might have. Some of you might be sitting back saying, dude, the first show back and you're complaining about people getting tax credits back. Hey, every dollar that somebody can keep in their pocket, I'm all for. Just don't take it out of my pocket so you can keep it. That's the only problem I have with the whole thing. I am all for not having any income tax at all. And in fact, we've got a tax plan that we are going to produce here on the John LeBang Show in the coming weeks. And this is a good one. Oh, yeah. Most of you will like this plan because, well, it's voluntary. And if you want to help out something, you're going to be able to. And if you don't want a program to exist, none of your money will ever have to go there. But we're up against our second break, folks. Man, time flies here. I can't say this enough, but when I get behind this microphone and get going, the time just flies on by like we're